All right, this is Mr. Carlin. Let's talk about your study guide here for Unit 6, your geometry unit. Okay, on these first set of questions here, what we are doing is listing the number of triangles and rectangles for each one of these three-dimensional shapes. Now, the instructions say to decompose. Decompose means to take apart. Okay, so in that first shape, we have a cube, right? Like this Rubik's Cube. And if we were to take it apart side by side, okay, we would notice that we would have each side made of squares. Well, how many squares do we have? We would have 6, okay? Rectangles, okay, squares can be rectangles, but rectangles cannot be squares. Making sure I say that right. Because on squares, each side is the same length and width, okay, it's the same size. So when you look at this shape, do you have any triangles? No, you don't have any triangles, so you would say 0. This for rectangles, we would have 6, because there's 6 sides to a cube. Now this one, this shape is a square pyramid, okay? The base of it, and I'm going to draw the net for it. Well, actually, here's the net right here for it as well, okay? This right here would be a square pyramid. So the base is a square or a rectangle, and then each side is made of triangles. Well, how many triangles do we have? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 triangles and 1 rectangle. Okay, the rectangle is this base on the bottom. Okay, pyramids only have 1 base. All right, let's do number 5. It says calculate the surface area of the net. I'm going to make sure I have my calculator ready because I'm going to need it here. Okay, I'm just going to use my phone, but I'll have it off screen. Alright, so we need to calculate the surface area of this shape using this net. I always like to start with the base shape. That's the bottom piece right here. That's our base. What shape is that? It looks like it's a square because each side is 16 yards long. So when we find the area of a square or a parallelogram, we do, for this shape, we're going to do 16 times 16. That shape is W, so let's actually write it over here, 16 times 16. So when I do that in my calculator, I end up with 256 yards squared. Okay. Now we have to do the triangles, and notice that because this is a square pyramid, every triangle is the same size. So our triangles, we do base times height, and height is measured straight down from the center to the top, okay, from the highest point to the base. So all heights of the triangles are like this. Okay, that's what my dotted line represents, the height of the triangles. So for this triangle, the height, that's this dotted line here, is 15, and the base is 16. So for our triangles, we're going to do 15 times 16 divided by 2. We divide triangles by 2 because they're half of a parallelogram. So we're going to do 15 times 16 divided by 2, get 120. So each triangle is 120. They're all the same. Whoops. They're all the same because it's an equilateral triangular pyramid. Or square pyramid, sorry. So for y, okay, what we did is we did 15 times 16 divided by 2, and we end up with 120, and every triangle is also 120. And when we go to find our surface area, we're going to add all of that together. So we're going to do 120 plus 120 plus 256 plus 120 plus 120. We should have 4 120s. Whoops, we're adding that. We should have 4 120s and then one base at 256. So let me do that. 120, and I'm going to times that by 4 because I have 4 of them. And then plus 256. So we end up with a total area of 736 yards squared. Okay? All right. Turn the page. Okay, this one, it wants us to, it's a two-part question. It says construct a net and then label the side links. You have to do both parts to get the points, okay? Construct a net and label the side links. So this three-dimensional shape is a triangular prism, and it's triangular prism because it has two triangles for the bases. Now I am going to draw the dotted lines that are invisible or behind that you can't see. Okay, so that way we can see our shapes better. I like to start with, let me see if I can color code it here. I like to start with the bottom shape. That's the piece that it sits on here. And that is a rectangle that is 6 by 9. So I'm going to draw that first. It is 6 by 9. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we just need to have an idea of closeness and label it 6 by 9. Then you can go to any shape after that. I'm going to go with this top piece next, right here. Highlight it here in red. That's my top. Okay. And that top piece is 9 by 10. Well, that 9 meets here, so that means that this length is 10. And this is 9. This is 10. Okay. Then we have our back piece. Let's see, I don't have any more colors, so I'm going to go back to blue, I guess. Have the back piece here, for this side piece. Okay, and that is a 9 by 8, because this line's 9, this line's 9, this line's 9, so it's the 9 by 8. Okay, then we have our triangles on our faces here, so here and here, if this was to fold down with the bottom piece, it would meet the 6, and then it has a height of 8. So it's like we're drawing it upside down, height of 8, and this line would meet there. So our triangle is 6 by 8, and this triangle on the other side is also 6 by 8. Okay. Now this angled measurement is 10, but we don't use that for the triangles. It just means that that's where it meets here with this line when it's folded together. Okay? So that's how you would draw and label your net. Now let's look at one to where it's a triangular prism and they unfolded it for us, and we're going to use this net to answer these questions. Okay? So I'm going to see if I can zoom this in some. Zoom it way in. I don't know if it'll focus really good, but we'll try. Okay. Maybe come out just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to find first the area of the large side. This is the large side. Visually it's bigger, so we're going to call it the large side. To find the area, we're going to do base times height. So that means we're going to do 17 times 17. So putting my calculator. 17 times 17. So that's 289 for this one. I like to write it down. The area of the large side, are they correct to say that it's 255? No, we got 289, so that is not correct. Now the bottom piece, that is what it sits on. Okay, that's that 15 by 17 piece right here. Okay, so this is 15 times 17. So get my calculator. 15 times 17. So this one is 255. That's not the large side. That is the bottom, which they are also incorrect there to say that. Okay. Then we have the area of the front. The front is this triangle piece right here. This triangle piece in the front that's facing you. When it folds down, it's this right here. It's a base. So when we do the triangle, remember, base times height. We're not going to use the slant edge. Okay? So we're going to do 15 times 8 and then divide that by 2. So for the triangle, we're going to do 15 times 8 and divide that by 2. When we get that, we get 60. So each triangle, because the triangles are the same size, each one is 60. And it says for the front triangle, it is 70. Nope, not correct. But for the back triangle, it is 60, so that one is correct. Then we have the small side to find, which is this smaller piece here. And it is 8 by 17, so that means for this one, we're going to do 8 times 17. It's a rectangle, so we don't have to divide by 2. And that ends up equaling 136. So are they correct to say that? Yes, they are. Alright, so then it wants to know what is the surface area of this prism. Well, that means we're going to take these numbers that we got and we're going to add them together. So we have 289, 255, 136, 60, 60. We're going to add that together. I'm just going to use my calculator to save time. So put that in. And we end up getting 800. So our total surface area is 800. Okay. Turn the page. This one, it wants us to calculate the surface area of this cube. When we are doing surface area, you need to draw a net. Always. Okay, always draw a net. Okay, so that cube, it's kind of like this Rubik's Cube. Okay, it's still going to have 6 sides, so we're going to draw a net that we could use to fold to make those sides. Should be 6 squares in that cube. The nice thing about cubes is that all sides are the same, so once we find the area of one, okay, we know the area of all of them. So we need to know a side length, so we're going to count how long the square, how many squares there are on one of these side lengths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 units long. Okay, so that means that every line on here, base and height, is 4. And to find area of a square like that, we're going to do 4 times 4, which is 16. So that means the area of each one of these is 16. To find the total area or surface area, we add all that together, or because we have all 16s, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we do 16 times 6, which ends up being 96, and we can say square units. And we say square units because it doesn't tell us inches, centimeters, feet, or yards, or whatever. Okay, so we just say square units. Okay, let's look at this one and zoom out just a little bit so we can get all of the page. Okay, it says construct a rectangle in the second and third quadrants of the Cartesian coordinate plane. All we're doing is creating a rectangle in the second and third quadrants. Well, where is the second and third quadrant? Well, this is quadrant 1, this one is quadrant 2, this one is quadrant 3, and those are the two that we're using. This would be 4. So we're going to use these two. We're only going to have one rectangle that's going to take up this quadrant. Well, how is that going to look? It's going to have to cross over the X line. So let's create a rectangle by placing dots that we can connect to make a rectangle. Could look something like that. Your rectangle could be bigger or smaller if you want it to be. Okay? Then, at the bottom here, it wants us to plot the ordered pairs from the rectangle in this problem. The ordered pairs are where the vertices or the corners or the dots are at. Okay? So let's start with this dot, this first dot. Okay. Remember that when we are plotting ordered pairs, the x number comes first and the y number comes second. So to get to this location, we're going to move in x first and then y second. So we start here, and then since we're going left, we go -5. So x is -5. And then staying there, we go up 2, so +2. For this one, we start here, go to -7, and then up to +2, so -7, +2. Let's go to this one. We go -7, so x, -7, and then down -3. And then this dot is -5, -3. Okay, so those would be the ordered pairs for that. All right, let's turn the page. Zoom out some more. Okay, it says construct a square using the two vertices 1, 0 and 1, 5. The other vertices have a horizontal distance of 5 units from the points given. Label the ordered pairs of all 4 vertices that would complete the rectangle. Okay, so it wants us to have 5 units from these points in a horizontal distance. What direction is horizontal? Side to side. This is horizontal, this is vertical. So we want horizontal distance. So from this first point, we need a distance of 5, horizontally or side to side. You can go this way or you can go this way. Either way is going to work. Okay, so I'm going to go with this way. I like to stay positive. You always got to stay positive, never negative. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I place my dot. 5 units, 5 jumps. Same thing with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect the dots. Now we need to label what those dots are. Okay, now they told us the first two, 1, 0 and 1, 5. This is 1, 0, this is 1, 5. So 1, 0, 1, 5. Okay, and then this dot, let's go with that one, it's going to be 6 and x, no movement in y, so it's 0. And then 6 and x and 5 up for the next one. Oops, 6 and then 5. There we go. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Pretty easy. Okay, turn the page. This one, it wants you to construct a triangle in the third quadrant of the coordinate plane, then label the vertices of that triangle. So we're going to make a triangle in the third quadrant. Remember, this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, so this is quadrant 3. We're going to make a triangle. It can be any size or any shape of triangle. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. I like right triangles because I like to always be right. Haha. Alright, so let's label these vertices. This point here, starting in x, we go -6 and -2. So x is -6, y is -2. Okay, then the next point we're going to go to this one, so we go -6, -6. And then this point, -3, -6. Okay. That's your study guide. If you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher before the test. Your study guide's due at the end of this week. Good luck.